Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom. But before I begin, please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you're not already a member of the family, leave your comments, share this video, and also if you're interested, we have a membership and that information is in the description box below. Okay, so let's get started. Today's video is Love Without Borders, What the F ×2. So they pick back up after the Christmas break, and we're going to start off with Mael and Aaron. The issue that I see with this couple is you could tell that Mael is really trying, but Aaron, I don't know, he's going from hot to cold. Hot to cold. They're shopping, they're trying to bond, trying to get closer, so that's what they're doing. Now, it's also the Christmas holiday, and so they decide that they're going to take a road trip to see Mael's family in another city. And so we see them getting their stuff together to take this road trip, right? And so Mael's like, okay, so I rented us a car, and see, the car was already parked outside waiting. I'm like, wow, now that's service. Renting a car is already outside your building waiting on you. Now, although there's no driver, you have to drive it yourself. Okay. So when he points out the car is like small, like I would say like a Fiat or something. Now, Aaron, I believe is like over 6 foot, like 6'3", 4, 5, so he's really tall. Versus Mael, who's regular size, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever he is. He's shorter, at least a foot shorter than Aaron. And so I'm thinking like, I think Aaron's gonna be scrunched up in the car, but he gets in fine, and Mael goes to take off, and he is in reverse. He's like, oh. But Mael said he hasn't driven in 6 years. I'm like, still a reverse drive, let's get it together here. So now as they're driving to their destination, it's gonna take them a little more than an hour to get there. Why does Aaron have the directions on his phone as to where they're going? I'm thinking, Mael, you don't know where your hometown is and you don't know where you're meeting your family? I found that odd, but I mean, he did say he hasn't driven in 6 years, but still, I mean, you know where you're going, you know where you live. In the car, Mael and Aaron are trying to pass the time, and they come up with different little questions. And one of the questions comes up for Aaron, and it says, he's asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And oh my goodness, Aaron gives this answer. It is long and drawn out. You just hear him going over and over and on and on and on and on. In confessionals, Mael was saying, like, I don't understand why he don't know. I mean, I thought he was here for a relationship. Now, even though, yes, he's technically there for a relationship, that doesn't necessarily mean that your relationship will work out in 5 years. Now, as they make it to their destination, not even 5 minutes after Aaron and Mael walk in, it seems like Mael's family comes in. They're very nice, they're welcoming and greeting. And Aaron, to me, I think I know what it is now. Aaron is in a shell because he reminds us that his previous relationship where he was ghosted, I don't think he's ever got past that. I don't think he's truly healed from that relationship. The family's asking the standard questions like, where are you from? What do you do? Different things like that. How do you think the relationship is going? Now, Mael excuses himself to the restroom so there could be like a little bit more of a private conversation. And Aaron says that he feels like the relationship has progressed, is going fine, but as far as intimate, not so much. I'm thinking you didn't have to bring up the intimacy part of it. They didn't ask you that. I'm sure they probably didn't want to know, but Aaron put it out there anyway. So one of Mael's brothers said, well, it's only been a month. It's going to take time to get to know each other. And then Mael comes back and he's like, oh, so what are you guys talking about? And so Aaron repeated the conversation. He said, well, I said we were progressing in a relationship, but, as far as intimacy, I don't know. Now, in confessional, Aaron goes on to say he thought it was like a little much to be saying in front of his family, but no one asked you intimacy. They just asked you how things were going, So Aaron is trying to say, I think Aaron's trying to put the fact out like we're just friends and he can't see anything beyond that right now. So after that's over, this is the next day or later in the evening, Aaron and Mael are at home. Mael just comes out and says, like, what's really going on? If you're not here for a relationship, why are you here? He said he's been trying, he's tried everything. He could tell that Aaron is not really opening up, and he feels like we're hitting a dead end, and he's not sure that he wants to go on. And as far as Mael's concerned, I happen to see that too. Like, Aaron is not, he doesn't seem like he's opening up really for conversation or anything. So I agree with Mael on his point. Moving to Dana and Brian. Dana is still reeling from Brian blindsiding her with him saying he's not attracted to her. They're at the table talking. Now see, Dana don't have on any makeup at all. And you could tell that she's emotional, like maybe she's been crying. And she just asked Brian, like, what is it about me that you're not attracted to? Brian says he likes ladies that are a bit more natural, more feminine. And then production shows us scenes where when Dana first gets there, she's asking Brian, like, do you like these lashes? You want me to put on, lipstick or whatever it is? And Brian's like, yeah. And so that, I can see where Dana got the mixed signals. And then Dana says, well, you should have mentioned that's what you liked. You didn't have to, it feels like you're leading me on. And then Dana goes on to say, so you thought that maybe I was being superficial with the lashes and the makeup? And Brian said, yeah. And then Dana throws it back at him and says, well, weren't you being superficial thinking that? And then Brian had to step back and think about that. She tells Brian, well, she thinks she's being played, and, she didn't come all the way here to be played. And if this is the type of relationship is going to be, then maybe she's going to consider not being a part of it. Then Brian says, well, Dana, I care about you. And Dana says, well, just don't play me. Now, later in the afternoon or the next day, Dana and Brian go meet his sister, Lauren, just, to say hello and for Dana to get a chance to meet her. But in confessionals, Brian says that he always goes to his sister for advice. When Brian's sister, Lauren, comes, again, she's welcoming and greeting. And so when Dana excuses herself to the bathroom, Brian tells his sister, well, she's a nice lady and everything, but she's not really my type. And then Lorna says, yeah, I can see that. But just because she's not your type, she gave up everything to come here to be with you. And the expert thinks that you have something in common, so why don't you just give it a try? Don't try to just push it away. Lorna says that her brother tends to push people away once he feels like he's stepping outside of his box. And Brian said that he would give it a chance to see where things would go with Dana. Now, later in the evening, they're back home. Like I said, it's Christmas time for all the couples, and they are exchanging gifts. Why did Brian give Dana some makeup remover cloths that are reusable? I'm like, see, there you go. How is that supposed to make her feel good? One, that, oh, it's a nice gift you gave me as a gesture, but two, you want her more natural, so you're trying to tell her low-key that you use these makeup removers to take all that off because I just want you natural. Brian, no. Next up is Phil and Carmen. Not too much happened with their scene. Phil is meeting Carmen's twin sister. I believe her name is Cynthia. She's coming over for lunch to meet him, and Phil is nervous, which is understandable. I mean, you're not just her sister, but her other half, and he says he wants things to go smooth, and Carmen's saying, yeah, it will be, just be yourself. So as Carmen's sister comes over, again, regular conversation, it seemed to go smooth. Phil wasn't awkward or anything with it, and they just got to talking about how the relationship was going. And then Phil chimed in that he enjoyed being in Ghana. He told her that his mom came out to Ghana on multiple occasions for her charity work, so he was used to the culture and everything that had to go along with that. And then he also said that their family is from Jamaica, and he said that the colors red and gold was something that they had in common. Now, one funny thing about the scene was when Carmen brought the lunch in for all them to share, why when Phil sat down, his pants ripped? I'm like, Phil, even Carmen was saying, aren't your pants are too tight? Phil, you know what? When he went out in confessionals, he still had those same pants on. He showed us the rip. I'm like, you could at least went up and change your clothes. I mean, come on, Phil. And so after lunch, it's later in the evening. Phil and Carmen are having dinner. They are exchanging gifts. But why did Phil give her a swimsuit? He said it was a bikini or something. She pulled it out. They were the bikini bottoms that wasn't close to even being her size. Like, you would consider those, they would be under the umbrella of, they would be for her granny panties. So, I mean, why did Phil think that would be her size? I guess it's the thought that counts. Moving to Gurleen and Sharaf. There's always something going on with this couple. She's reminding us about an argument they had when they went out on a double date. I can't think of Sharaf's friend right now, but it's the one that we've seen in those scenes, or even we haven't seen before, that he's always going back and forth, chiding Sharaf like, why don't you have this woman in your bed? Any other woman, you would have bedded her the same night. Just being really inappropriate with his comments. And then they also get into an argument about women's rights and not being recognized. It's just always something going back and forth with them. So it's the next morning. We see Gurleen. She's out shopping for a Christmas tree. She's trying to tone the mood down. She's trying to make a peaceful gesture because she said Christmas is a time of peace, and she's trying to, give that olive branch. So she's putting up decorations around the house. Sharaf comes home. He notices the decorations. They both sit down. They hash out what went on at the party. And Gurleen said she felt blindsided. And Sharaf said that he also felt, the conversation was blindsided, but he didn't get a chance to answer because things went more left than they were, not just with his friend, but with Gurleen chiming in, and just the whole entire conversation the evening was just out of hand. They got back on the same page for now. Now later, the next day again, or a couple days later, whatever it was, Sharaf and Gurleen go to Sharaf's friend, hopefully it's a different friend, for a holiday party that they have every year. And so I guess Sharaf and Gurleen were saying that they were going to take accountability for each other. Like, they didn't want to have any more arguments and conversations they had to deal with while they were drinking. And so at the party, Gurleen walks up to Sharaf while he's about to drink a drink. She goes, "Is that vodka?" He was like, "Yeah, why?" She was like, "You know what? Never mind. Pretty much you do you." So when we see them again, it's the next morning. Apparently it's Christmas morning, and they're both sitting in separate confessionals. They're talking about they had yet another argument. Gurleen brings up about equal rights with women, what they can and can't do. She was like, "I don't understand why you haven't done the research. Like, how come women can't do these certain things? And like, you're blind to this. Like, even though you grew up in a family where it was acceptable for your mom and sister to be independent, that's not the way that it is." And I'm thinking, how did the conversation get from the accountability of, I'm not drinking vodka, but you are, to the research of what women's equals rights were? And then Sharaf was saying, he doesn't understand where her point is coming from, like the arguments and everything else. And he hopes that his family coming over today, they can squash things and have a peaceful day. So then we see the family come over. His mom, his dad, his sister. Gurleen has set out some food, and the dad has maybe inkling that something is not right because he's sitting on the sofa with his legs crossed, his arms folded, and just looking, just like, And then he's singing Silent Night. I was like, the shade, Dad. I'm the Silent Night. So because no one is having real conversation. So while they're eating, nobody's saying anything. And then I guess they try to break the ice with making little gingerbread houses, but you could tell there's something wrong. But the family doesn't intervene. They don't ask, and neither does Gurleen and Sharaf. So after the Christmas exchange of the gifts and the gingerbread houses in the mail, the family goes home. And again, the conversation gets back into why we're arguing. So when we see Gurleen again, it's not just Gurleen. This time, it's the relationship expert, Erica. She's flown in to Dubai to find out what the issue is, because apparently Gurleen has called her, and Erica felt that it was important to have a face-to-face conversation just to mediate. And so while Erica is talking to Gurleen, she's asking her, like, what is really happening? And so Gurleen gives the backdrop of, as mentioned, those women's rights and the reasons why she's feeling a certain way in a relationship and why maybe she can't go on. And she just, she's just so exasperated because love don't love her, she can't find love. And Erica's saying that she doesn't think that Gurleen is giving this a chance. She's in this with her blinders on and is in self-protection mode. And until she lets down those walls, she can't move forward. So maybe next week we'll see more with Gurleen, Erica, and Sharaf to see what page they can get back on to go forward in their relationship. Finally, we have Chandra and Naeem. All right, now since Naeem didn't make the Thanksgiving list, well, he made it, then he got kicked off the list. Chandra says she's felt bad about that and has invited him out on the town to a nightclub to, make him feel better. So make him know that she's in, trying and to go forward. But Shady Productions showed conversations of them having arguments, petty arguments about like, stop making those jokes. I'm not saying the jokes were petty because we didn't hear what it was, but just different little nitpicky things that Chandra has been on Naeem about since he got there. Well, Naeem accepted the invitation, but Chandra drops this bombshell. She says, okay, well, I'm gonna get a driver, an Uber driver, but just to let you know, the Uber driver is my ex-boyfriend. Naeem is like, huh? Your ex-boyfriend? She's like, yeah, he'll be taking us. We're just friends, that's all. He's gonna take us because my car is broke down. So then we see her ex-boyfriend, Enrique, come to the house. He's dressed up because he's invited to go to, not just drive the Uber, but he's invited to the club. And Naeem was like, oh, okay. So when they get to the club, Chandra's having a good time. She's drinking, she's dancing, but some kind of way during the night, Enrique ends up dancing with Chandra. And it's not just regular dancing. She's all up and down with her drink and everything else. She just in the zone. And Naeem is like, nope, I'm not doing this. I'm out of here. So he leaves and Chandra's still having a good time. So now it's the next morning. Naeem comes back to the house because he stayed the night at a hotel because he was upset, and I don't blame him. And whose car is outside? It's Enrique's. So apparently Enrique has stayed the night. So when Naeem walks in, he says, oh, whose car is that? She goes, yeah, it was Enrique's. I mean, yeah, he slept here, but he's just my friend, like nothing happened. He's like, Naeem says, so where did he sleep? She goes, well, he slept in the bed next to me, but we're just friends, nothing happened. And Naeem was like, oh, really? She said, yeah, and you know what? If I was Naeem, I wouldn't believe that either. I mean, okay, you could be friends just that now, but he's your ex-boyfriend who you invited, who you were dancing on, who looked like he has feelings for you still, and you look like you still have feelings for him. So, you need to come a little bit better with that. And I think maybe Erica needs to fly out to Panama to see what's going on with this relationship too. So that was the end of this episode. These couples are going through a lot of trials and tribulations. Right now, the only one that seems to be on the course, the stay in the right course, is Phil and Carmen. But as far as Chandra and Naeem, nope, that ex-boyfriend thing, I don't know how you could bounce back from that. Dana and Brian, I mean, they're trying, but he said he wasn't attracted to you, so I don't know what else you need to hear. Gurleen and Sharaf, there's something always going on with that couple. And Mael and Aaron, I think he also has his walls up too, and Mael has noticed it and said that that brick wall or that dead end is in full effect, but we'll see. Okay, everyone, so thank you again for watching. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share, and leave your comments. And until next time, live simply, be grateful.